Baba, mo rò pé mo ti gbé báàgì dísẹ̀. Ọlọ́run. I will gist you. All your talk, Baba. I respect you.
Hello guys, welcome to another driving test video. So this was a test at Hither Driving Test Center on the 9th of March 2022, and the test took place at 11:11 in the morning. So this was a beautiful one, and one of those meaningful tests, because the candidate failed 4 times now, and this is the 5th attempt. So apparently this is the 4th test in 4 months. So finally passed with 3 minor faults. And again, this test will just remind you again how important it is to stay calm, keep calm and relax, even when you think that you've done something wrong, when you think that you failed. Relax, keep going, because you never might know. Things might just not be what you think it is. So keep watching and let's go through the video. So as you would see, it was a beautiful day. The sun was out, the sky was blue, and the driving test started with a show me question to identify where the brake fluid reservoir is for the car, how you would know when it's low, and how to top it up. So yeah, and that was not a problem. So that was carried out, and yeah, so as you can see now, they now just on their way out of the test center. So remember, when you're coming out of Hither Driving Test Center, keep to your left. Don't forget, don't get carried away. And when you're coming back in again, keep to your left again. And if you have to pass by vehicles waiting in queue to go into the test center for their driving test, make sure to come back into your left when you pass them. Sometimes learners do make these mistakes, and 1 or 2 learners have actually failed because of that. So bear this in mind. So he slows down very well before passing that pedestrian there and gives enough room as possible, and that's good, so bear that in mind. So as you would see here, Ade is making good progress with the speed and staying just under 30 miles an hour. So good job there. So as Ade tries to give way to the emergency vehicle coming behind, he slightly hits the curb, and at this point he thought he had failed. So a very common reaction many learners do, but he mentioned and said he remembered what I always say: don't fail yourself unless you finish the test. And he got himself together and continued. And this is why he didn't get himself quickly into the middle lane here, but eventually he gathers himself together and concentrates again. Now, when Ade pulled up here, he pulled up quite too close to the car in front. So beware of situations like this and avoid them. So because of that, he had to reverse backwards a little bit before moving off to create enough gap between him and the car in front. But then when he reversed, I wasn't so sure that his observation was quite good enough, because he narrowly missed the white car coming to pass now. So he reversed slightly, but then noticed it later on and stopped. So right there. So again, be very careful. That could have been a different situation if he didn't stop on time. So remember, avoid situations like this when you're going to move off, if you're going to reverse, whatever the case might be. When you stop and you're going to move off, don't forget, do your full check. And remember, I always say, don't just swing your heads around like a chicken. Make sure you're actually looking for something, because that's the only time you will see things that are around you. Because definitely he would have seen that if he looked properly and was looking for something. But on the other hand, he could have seen it, but his mind isn't there. Or maybe he misjudged the distance. These are things that can happen. So don't forget, relax and stay calm so that you can make the right judgments and decisions. So I was really quite impressed with his progress on the road on this test. Really good effort. Now, speed wise was very good and consistent through all of the road. He's keeping up with traffic, slowing down at the right time. It was actually quite surprising, and that's really good. So this is what happens if you stay calm. You would be in control. And one thing he said was, you know what, I just remembered you always say, just relax and drive like if you were just driving on a normal day, not on a test. Now, don't forget, it took him 4 tests to realize this, and this is all it is. So you just have to realize that it's just drive, and remember, you've got a passenger who wants to feel safe, and that's all it is. So make them feel safe, drive them safely. Imagine that they're trying to get to a destination, although they're not in a rush, but they would like to get there on time if possible. And so which means if the road is safe and it's good to go, then make progress. So here was the parallel parking where he also had one fault for control, and that was really it. He managed to complete the maneuver without any serious fault, and the test continued. So I'm glad he stopped for that pedestrian ahead because it was safe to do so, and him braking there was not going to affect anyone unsafely behind him because the van behind also was quite a few yards away from him and was able to stop safely as well. So that was the right call. Now watch how slow he drops the speed before taking the second turn. This is how you want to slow down, especially when there are other vehicles at the junction when you're turning left. You can actually fit if those cars are positioned within their own lane. Just slow your speed down properly so that you have control to steer properly. Slow down, slow down. The space is very narrow, and because you're doing 2 turns within a very short distance, you need to keep that speed really down. This is quite funny because I remember going through a width restriction with him this morning before the test and reminding him how to really slow down to get through this, because he may just be coming through one. And to think he actually did, that makes me really happy that we did that. So yeah, well done again. So at this point, they are now coming back to the test center. So to recap what the faults were, 2 were for control steering and 1 was reverse park. So when he was doing his reverse parallel parking, and that was again because of his steering control. So from what the examiner stated, all of these 3 faults were really to do with how he steers the car around. And one of them was when he turned into a road. I couldn't pick out what road that was, but the examiner did mention that he turned into the road too wide. Now this is why I used to say steer effectively and turn your wheels properly to get into your lane. Don't go closer to other cars, or even just keep too much gaps on your left when you're turning because you've got the gap. So avoid these things and relax. So yeah, that was really it. So after 4 tests, we passed on the 5th time. So my point here, guys, is Ade could have passed on the 1st test, he could have passed on the 2nd, 3rd, even the 4th. And I'm saying this because he's a good driver. He can actually drive, but he gets quite anxious during the test. I call it exam fever. So don't forget, if this is you, relax. You can do it. He took him 4 different tests to realize I just have to just forget about this and just stay calm. At the end of the day, the worst is going to be another fail. So if you don't want that to happen, just keep calm. Drive and let the examiner enjoy and feel safe in your car. And that's all. And that's what he did today. And that proves it. 3 faults. Now all of the lessons we've been doing after each of those tests were just to try and get him to relax himself. He could drive already. It was just trying to get him to relax and show him the mistakes and the very many mistakes that he keeps doing whenever he's not relaxed. And that's all. But yeah, eventually this is it, guys. So that's it. He's done. And that's the end of the road as far as lessons are concerned. And the rest shall be learned every day now as he drives on his own. But the good thing though is he was really committed, and he wasn't gonna let the fails put him down. And that is the positive thing you should pick from this. Now a lot of people would have given up at the 2nd try or the 3rd, but he kept going. And it wasn't cheap, because don't forget, it's quite expensive to get tests these days. So finding a test within 4 months and doing 4 tests definitely is not cheap, trust me. So yeah, he really put into that, and I give him that. So and he paid off. So that's it, guys, and I hope that you, at least if nothing at all from driving, at least mentally pick something from these. That don't give up. Don't give up. Keep trying, and eventually you get it. So stay blessed. Don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you find this helpful or useful, and leave a comment below if you have any questions or suggestions whatsoever. So wish you best of luck and all the best.